8 billion Spinda, 1 billion lions. Who would win? I don't know. I am a monkey. There's a famous question in the Pokemon community over who would win in a fight, 1 billion real-world lions or one of every Pokemon. Now, the question itself is very poorly laid out. When you say one of every Pokemon, are you including all the gender differences between the Pokemon? What about shiny Pokemon and Pokemon that have different forms? You also have Pokemon like Yveltal and Gardevoir that have the power to potentially kill everyone on both sides. If Yveltal dies, as in he drops dead, he's going to absorb the life force of every living thing around him, meaning that everyone is going to die, regardless of if it's a lion or not. Then you got Gardevoir, who can create mini black holes at will, so, you could end up destroying the whole Earth if you threw your Gardevoir out. Then, as if that wasn't bad enough, you have Magcargo, who's about 70 degrees hotter than the surface of the sun, meaning everything around him is just going to melt instantly the moment he shows up there. While the question itself is fun to think about, what makes it even more interesting is that there are over 8 billion different Spinda variants in existence. The reason the number is so high is because of the way the dots on the Spinda are determined. You see, they basically get decided depending on your trainer ID and your secret ID and the personality value of the Pokemon, and then there's this algorithm that determines the dots, and then math. But what if we made 8 billion Spinda fight 1 billion lions? Could they pull it off? First, we actually have to look at Spinda. Now, something important that you have to remember is that a Pokemon like Caterpie is going to do absolute bunk against one lion, let alone a billion. The average lion is about 4 feet tall. Spinda is about 3.5 feet tall, so already things are looking pretty dire. The lion could very easily defeat Spinda at this point. We now have to take a look at how powerful Spinda actually is. We're going to do this by looking at two things, Spinda's moveset and Spinda's base stat total. For those who don't play Pokemon, the base stat total is basically how powerful a Pokemon would be at level 50 if you didn't do anything to enhance its stats. Pikachu has a base stat total of 320. Now, if you've seen the anime, you'll know that he was able to beat lots of different Pokemon, so Spinda's base stat total being 360 is pretty good. It's 40 more than Pikachu, and it's pretty promising at first. The closest thing we have to a normal lion Pokemon is Pyroar, which has a base stat total of 507. What the heck? Well, this isn't looking too good, but don't worry, it's not over yet. Let's consult Spinda's moveset. Now, supposing we're only getting level up moves and capping it off at level 50, Spinda is going to know the moves Flail, Double Edge, Psych Up, and Uproar. Now, I'm going to be completely honest here, Psych Up will be absolutely useless, okay? The moment you start using a stat enhancing move during the battle, the lion's just going to come in and destroy that thing, alright? Double Edge is the most powerful move Spinda will have, but it's going to inflict tons of damage upon itself too. Ideally, Spinda would use Double Edge and then use Flail to try and inflict as much damage as possible, but you have to remember that these are wild Spindas and that we have no idea what they're going to be doing. If we take Pyroar as the closest thing we have to a real-world lion, then it's going to know the moves Hyper Voice, Crunch, Echoed Voice, and Takedown. In all likelihood, the lion will probably use Hyper Voice or Echoed Voice first, and then bite down on Spinda and absolutely destroy it because Spinda is one of the worst Pokemon you could use to fight a lion. When you actually take a look at Spinda, you're going to realize that it's based off of two things, a panda and a stuffed animal. Now, a stuffed animal is going to do absolutely nothing against a lion with fangs and claws. Look at the way this dog is just destroying this stuffed animal. There is no way Spinda will be able to survive this. However, we have 8 billion Spinda, meaning that every lion is going to be outnumbered 8 to 1. So surely that means we're going to win this time, right? Wrong! Supposing that they all have a 25% chance of using each move, 2 will use Flail, 2 will use Double Edge, 2 will use Uproar, and 2 will use Psych Up. Now, while the lion is busy ripping apart one of the guys who use Psych Up, the other guys are going to be able to get some pretty good hits in on the lion, right? Except, uh-oh, I forgot, these aren't real animals, they're stuffed animals. Can you imagine a stuffed animal hitting you? That's going to feel like absolutely nothing because they pack no punch. It's not even like being hit with a pillow because when you're being hit by a pillow, there's actual force being exerted by a human being. Look at my arm. I've got a decent amount of muscle on my arm. Now look at how hard I can smack this pillow. Spinda also only weighs like 11 pounds. Do you know how much 11 pounds is? That's like 3 pounds less than what a big baby would weigh. Do you really think that 8 babies are going to be able to take down a lion? No, of course not. That's stupid. And with that, we have solved the question. Could 8 billion Spinda beat 1 billion lions? No.